Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Raha, Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that are still to this very day continually rule very well. That's feeding the flock through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the hopefully elect that's continually plowing in this work, that's continually laboring, turning into the rest that we long for, man, in faith, in truth, and in sincerity, giving all diligence. Shalom. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled, Esau wants to take the world down with him. Because Esau, which is the true biblical nationality of the so-called white man, you know, he knows that his time is up. He knows that his rulership is going down. So, in his attempts to enact his New World Order agenda, he's also taking the world down with him, man. He's taking the whole planet Earth down to the grave with him. All right? Because right now, Esau is in the mode of whether they're able to continue the New World, to reach the New World Order agenda, or whether it kills them. All right. And it is going to kill them. All right. But it's not going to kill them entirely because, of course, for the captivity that we went through, that they put us under. All right. They got to go through the same captivity, but it's going to be much worse, pursuant unto the book of Revelations, where it speaks about double being rendered unto the so-called white man, which once again is Edom. All right. And, you know, with Esau, once again, knowing that his kingdom is going down, he wants to take everything and everybody with him. All right. And through the spirit, that's what he's doing. All right. Because Esau, you know, him and his warped way of knowledge, you know, his knowledge, you know, that's perpetuated throughout the world. He thinks that he knows every single thing that's on the planet Earth, but yet he doesn't understand the ways of the spirit. All right, because the spirit is leading him into self-destruction, because Esau has always been a self-destructive individual. All right, the so-called white men, also the Edomites, the people of Esau, the people of Edom, the Edomites, have always been self-destructive. I mean, if you look around, you know, this whole society is ran by Esau. You know, you see how destructive it is, man. The cities that are set up, the air is polluted, you know, and there's waste that's being dumped into the wilderness, you know, into parts of nature, especially the waters as well. That's why when you see animals or different species being killed off, you can thank the so-called white man for that. All right, because once, you know, you had different sorts of animals that were beautiful to behold, but now they're becoming extinct. All right. But like I said before, this so-called white man, you know, if he's not taken out of power soon, then no one's going to be delivered, man. That's pursuing the book of Matthew's, I believe it's the 24th chapter. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the precepts, you know, just explain further, because, you know, Esau, you know, and this is a known fact, man. Esau, the so-called white man, is a coward. All right. And he's always has been, you know, since his blessing was the sword, because the Lord knows that Esau can't handle, you know, the things that were meant for us Israelites, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Esau knows that. And since he knows that, he tried to develop ways to make life easier for him, so he'll be able to handle it. But the turn point, or the backlash for doing that, is the deterioration and corruption of the whole planet Earth. All right. Because he doesn't know how to handle the earth. He doesn't know how to handle the rulership and have the dominion over the earth. So therefore, the earth is deteriorating because of that. Now, as the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, in the 4th verse, it says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish." All right. And this is why. Verse 5, it says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. See? So the earth is defiled under the inhabitants, because if you read a verse up, actually, go to Isaiah, the 24th chapter, in the second verse. It says, "And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him." See? So as the people, as you see here in America, in the soils of America today, they're just like the so-called white man. They're following after the same example, being destructive, wicked. You see the spirit of perverseness on the people. So therefore, when the Lord brings down judgment, then guess what? The same thing is going to happen to the people that follow behind Esau, or they follow behind the coattails of Esau. All right. So go back to verse 5. It says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant." All right. Because this whole planet Earth is not ran by the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So therefore, the earth is going to deteriorate and is going to corrupt as this rulership continues, because the earth has no time to rest. It has no time to rejuvenate and replenish itself, because Esau, the so-called white man, continually runs this land dry until it's destroyed. All right. So that's why the Lord has got to take this man out soon, very soon, man. All right. Verse 6, it says, "Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left." See? So because of that, because of the rulership of the so-called white man, is this earth is cursed, man. All right. And it's devoured the earth. Okay, so and it says, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. See? Because those laws, statutes, and commandments, which are a part of that, is the agricultural part of the laws, statutes, and commandments are broken. All right, because they don't honor the land Sabbath. All right, the land Sabbath is there for a reason. All right, it's there to let you can let the earth rest. All right, but the earth hasn't gotten any rest for years and years now, man. That's why you see the condition that the earth is in right now. Now, go over here to now. I looked up that word shorten because I want to grab two precepts. The first one is in Matthew's, the 24th chapter in the 22nd verse, which says the same thing, but if you pay close attention, right? I'm gonna show you something. It says Matthew's, the 24th chapter in the 22nd verse. It says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." All right. In which this is talking about when this was written, right? This was talking about the future, right? Or what's to come. It says that those days should, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So if those days weren't shortened, then no flesh are going to be saved, right? But it says, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right. So for the very elect's sake, the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of 144,000 members, 144,000 Israelites out of the 12 tribes of Israel, which once again consists of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the days will be shortened. All right. Now, if you go back to Mark, the 13th chapter, in the 20th verse, right? It says, "And except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved." So now it's speaking past tense. All right, because back in Matthew's, it was speaking future tense, was to come. But now in this precept is saying past tense. It's putting it in the past tense structure. Right? It says, "And except the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he hath shortened the days." See? And that's right now, that's what you're seeing. We're in the process of those days being shortened, because as time goes on, man, and it's like that for every single brother that's in this truth. They'll say the same thing. Oh, you can actually ask a person, a normal everyday person, and they'll tell you the same thing, that the days just go by just like that, man, just at a blink of an eye. And that's the Lord doing that, man, because back then, the days were prolonged, but I mean, even going back to the time of when Israel was warring with the different nations, when they were going towards making their way towards the promised land. All right. Because the longest day that were ever recorded was during the time when I believe it's when Joshua ran into I forgot which nation it was, but it was one of the battles that our people fought, our forefathers fought, which it was the longest recorded day in history. All right. In which, like I said before, back then in those days, those days were prolonged, man. All right. And there's a reason why, because the Lord, back then, every one of our nation knew Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. And wickedness wasn't as such of a height as it is now. That's the reason why those days were prolonged. But as the days went on, into the thousands, right? And then you had up until the 1600s, 1700s, all the way up to the 1900s, all the way up to now the 2000s. Where now we're in 2018, the days have shortened, which each passing generation, because wickedness has sprouted and has grown into a full-grown tree. All right. Because if the days were prolonged as it was back then that would mean more time here on the earth to experience that wickedness. And the Lord doesn't want that. That's the reason why he's shortening the days like this. Okay. Now I want to grab one last precept. I'm gonna close it on out. Let's see, Slacky. I believe Revelation 12 and 12. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein." See, he said, "Rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein." All right. Why is that? Because the Lord has shortened those days, and Esau has a limited time to rule. And I'm gonna read on. It says, "And ye that dwell therein, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." All right. He's in that little season. Okay. That little season to rule, because under the rulership of Esau, everything dies, man. All right. So with that fact being known, then the Lord has just using an example, it's like using a remote control with a VCR. Those old VCRs back in the 90s, and you had a button that fast forward. Even in the DVD players, Blu-ray players, you have a button that fast forward the footage, right? That's what the Lord's doing, man. He's pressing the fast forward button on the time, man, because our Lord Yahweh Shem Shai dwells outside the realm of time. That's why he's known as the Ancient of Days in the scripture. All right. That's Revelation 20th chapter in the 3rd verse. Now, this is the last precept. I'm closing on out. It says, actually, let's start at verse 2. It says, "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled." And that happened. All right. After those 1,000 years of being under subjection, then they came back during the time of the Renaissance era, which Renaissance means rebirth, and that's which means the rebirth of the so-called white man Esau, which he came back into rulership. So Renan says, "And after that he must be loosed a little season." See, and that's that Renaissance era. That's the rebirth, and he's still in rulership today, and he's in his little season right now in rulership. And pretty soon the Lord is gonna knock him off his throne, man. He's gonna take the rulership away from him by force. All right, and that's pretty much it on this video. Lord's will, you members of the Hopefully Elect were edified by this video, and like I said before, man, that the so-called white man is about to be taken out of rulership. He is going into captivity under the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, under the nation of Israel. He'll be in continual rulership until he serves his time. And then after his time is up, then his life is up. All right. That'll be the end of the so-called white man. That'll be the end of Esau. No more Edomites and no more wickedness, man. So once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh.